Alright, so today up on the chopping block we have the SkullCandy Crusher ANC XT2s. This is a Walmart exclusive headphone. This is basically just a rebadged SkullCandy ANC2. It's just some kind of brand deal with Walmart. You can get it for $200 through them. It's supposed to be $230 everywhere else, but everywhere else I'm seeing it is $200 as well. It's $250 if you want any of the special colorways, but for this video specifically, we're just going to be calling them SkullCandy Crushers. Because my fucking god, SkullCandy, please shorten up your names. You may not be as bad as Sony, but like, take some notes from other companies like Bose Quiet Comfort. Yeah, that's easy to remember. Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra, easy to remember. SkullCandy Crusher ANC XT2. No, this is not a good name. SkullCandy, what was it? The Hesh Evo? Fine. Hesh ANC? Fine. Hesh ANC Evo? No longer than that. For the love of God. These names need to shorten up. Well, now that we got the name ran out of the way, let's start off with the build. It feels sturdy. It's a little bit more dense than what it actually looks, even being an all plastic build, I believe. I wanted to say I believe that's metal at first, but it might be plastic. I don't know. This finish is so weird. It picks up fingerprints like crazy. It's just fingerprint after fingerprint after fingerprint. You have this type of mesh on top. I don't know if they're going for like a pleather or like a fabric. And then you got this nice padding right here. This is really comfortable. This is not really. It's just not enough space in there to get your ear in there. You'll stick your hand in there and then you'll feel that space back there underneath it and you're like, oh yeah, I got plenty of space for my ears. No, you do not. It's just the spacing for if you have small ears, fine. But if your ears are big, they're not fitting. On the outside of the cups here, you got two holes. I don't believe this is for airporting. This has to be a microphone on each side. I'm not entirely positive of it, but I think it is. Well, no, that could be the microphone. I really doubt it's airporting. I really do. Like real airporting. It could just be for looks. You have your forward and back button with your play pause. This is your ANC toggle. I never use this. Just leave ANC on all the time. Do yourself a favor. You have 3.5 millimeter USB-C type charging because micro is garbage. And you have your power button, and then this is your bass slider. So the name of the game with these headphones is bass. And it's a lot of bass. Too much bass at times, but it's a really fun headphone. Alright, so enough of the physical design. Let's really get to this thing's bread and butter. The bass radiators. You can almost kind of hear it when you tap them. You can really feel it if you tap it, but you can almost hear it. With the older Crushers, you really could, but these, it's probably a bit more firm, and I can tell they have much higher quality bass radiators in them than, bass radiators. Bass transducers than what was in the older versions. I assume that's why they make these pads so thick, so it really conducts into your skull. Now, with the bass slider here all the way down, they are always active. If you cannot turn them off. So if the bass slider is at its minimum, the bass transducers are still active. So there's a certain minimum level of bass with these. It's hard to recommend them as like an only headphone, but if they're like a secondary headphone for specific genres of music, Yes. Yes, this is the definition of the fun headphone. It's not an exceptionally detailed headphone, even for consumer grade standards. And with the bass all the way down, it's still a very stark V shape. But what I have found is with, unlike other consumer headphones, it's not really like as much of an in your head congested sound. They actually do stage quite a bit. I'm even surprised, even compared to some other closed back audiophile headphones. Like, I don't know if it's because it's more than I expected it to do, but honestly, it's kind of surprising. Even with, like, how things can get really, really shaky with these things. Like, and by shaky, I mean they can about rattle off your head. If you put them down on a table and just leave them running, they can make their way off the table. No problem whatsoever. The top end can get kind of sibilant at times, and yes, the mid-range is very recessed, but realistically, if you buy this headphone, you know that's what you're going to expect. The soundstage, I didn't expect. And with the fact that the bass transducers in here, you can't completely turn them off. If you're listening to anything like a rock or like a metal with like a blast beat, like it can't keep up sometimes. It'll get ahead of it real quick. So like in the song Pain Remains by Lorna Shore, if anybody knows that song that's watching this, I'm going to be very surprised because, well, they're blowing up now, I guess. Their new vocalist is awesome. In the beginning of the song, you hear all the rain around you, and you can there's like this electric guitar that's playing, and it's like a real slow opening, and you can actually tell that it's like, it's out there. It's not in your head. But then as soon as the music actually picks up and the bass drum gets going and the guitar really gets going, the bass transducers just let the main drivers down. Now, if you're listening to something like Black Santa by Dax and you really have it cranked up, it almost feels like the pads are jumping off your head. Like, it is very music dependent. I would say if you're really only listening to rap or trap, great. Get them. 10 out of 10. But if it's all around on genres, it's hard to recommend them, which is why I don't want to say that I don't really recommend them as a main headphone. If it's a secondary headphone or a tertiary headphone, it's great, but not as a main headphone. If you need something for public transport for ANC purposes, it's really great because the ANC in these things is some of the best I've heard. You just got to deal with a little bit of amplifier static in the ear cups. For everything this headphone's doing at the price point, I can't be really too picky about it because it's got more soundstage than I expected it to have. It's maybe horribly V-shaped, but if you find music that sounds good on it, it really sounds good. The imaging, not amazing, but better than I expected, probably really helped out by that sense of soundstage. It's nothing as wide as like what you'll get from open backs, but honestly, for $200, it's not a horrible deal. If the only thing really holding these things back is that bass transducer not being able to turn off altogether. Maybe they don't trust the amount of bass that the actual like drivers in them can put out on their own, but I can see people wanting even less bass than like the transducers turned all the way down. Like if you're gonna have a bass slider, you want it going from zero bass whatsoever to probably like so much bass it ruins the music. Well, it does do that and then some. But the slider just doesn't go low enough. If the slider went even lower, I could see these being great for acoustical music, or if the transducer's turned off altogether, I could see you using it for metal or some kind of like indie rock or something. But because it can't keep up with those quick rhythmic notes, rap music's probably about all you got with these. So these headphones are never, to me, just okay. They're either really, really fun, great to bop to, or just bad. And it even varies that much in a single song. So, are they a good headphone? Yes. Are they for everybody? Hell no. I would say, if you know what you're getting into, pick them up. They're worth a shot. Worst case, if you hate them, return them. Thanks for watching, everybody.